everybody, to the latest episode of Burbs Bros. How are you, Sean?
I'm good, Dan. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. We're going to start things off a little differently, and instead of UAPs, we're going to go TC, and that's just true crime, baby.
Is that what you call it now?
I don't know.
You are streamlined, Dan.
STC, Streamlined True Crime. Check it out. We mentioned this story on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, but we really didn't get into it, and I think we should get into it, and that's, can you go to the topics, Pat?
This is a bonkers story.
This is a bonkers story.
Give people the clip notes.
This is basically the worst stepmom of all time. This was about an hour. I live in Stamford, Connecticut. This was about an hour away from me in Waterbury, Connecticut. And essentially a man set his house on fire to escape his stepmom, Kimberly Sullivan. We don't have the name of this guy right now, but just to give you an idea of how serious this was, he set the fire. The cops came. They immediately arrested her. And he said, "I'm the one who set this on fire. I don't care." As soon as they caught him, he's like, "I don't care if I live or die. I needed to be free."
Yeah.
And when they found him, he was 66 pounds.
And he was like 6 foot something. Right?
6'2", I think.
Yeah. It's brutal.
66 pounds. He was two sandwiches and 2 mini water bottles a day, which I thought you'd be. I mean, I know this makes me sound like an asshole, but I thought that you would be heavier than 66 pounds on 2 sandwiches.
2 sandwiches a day? Why? Because of the carbs? Well, if you're 6 foot, you're not 6'2". I'm not 6'2".
Yeah.
You need more. They need more. And who knows what kind of sandwich it was? Imagine if it was picky.
It was just it was 2 pieces of bread and a Polaroid of her middle finger.
Imagine if she gave him a lot of food, but he's like, "I'm just not a fan of mayo."
She didn't know I had a gluten allergy, so I haven't been eating for 20 years. I don't think that's the case.
No, I think
especially with how well this dog looks treated.
Also,
she's holding a dog outside when the cops come, and the dog looks like it's a store-bought puppy. Like it is in great shape.
Have they figured out what her motive was for keeping him locked up? It was just this psychosis?
She did not want to be his mom. From what I've read so far, his father died a couple years ago, and his father was wheelchair bound. So maybe she was like done with. She's like, "Well, I already fucking took care of his dad. I'm not going to put the same amount of work into this."
But was he disabled?
Yes.
Oh, that's what it was.
The father was disabled. And,
what about the son?
And the son has some disability. Yeah, but they don't know it just yet.
Oh my God.
So it's you just, the reason this is so random is because you always hear these like Joseph Fritzl, that German guy who had his like fucking daughter and her daughter in custody for like 30 years.
It's
usually a guy and a girl.
Movies about it. Yeah, it's not usually the mom that does it.
It's not the mom and the son. That's a very random one.
And let's be fair. He had to be disabled for it to be the mom. For like he's going to enough strength. He's just pushing the door open. he's just come on. Like it's like not to be a dick, but it's not. There's no mom that's physically intimidating a 6'2" guy into a room for 30 years.
Well, you know what I was thinking, Sean. He's newly free. He has a lot of time in his hands. Why not become a Burbs Bro patron? And check it out. And Pat, where can they go?
The Patreon.com/Burbs.
Patreon.com/Burbs.
So yeah, if you were housebound for the last 20 years, we are your favorite podcast.
Can we do ads for the Patreon where it's like the Disney World ads, like back in the day, where he's like, "Joe Montana, you just won the Super Bowl. Where are you going?" "I'm going to Disney World."
But it's people being rescued.
It's people being rescued. You just escaped 30 years of captivity from your mom. What are you doing? "I'm signing up for the Burbs Bros."
I hear if you spend $10, you get a free koozie. He's got like no hands.
Some guy kidnapped you and raped you for 15 years straight. What are you doing? "I'm going to the Burbs Bros."
Well, that brings up a good point. We did talk about higher tiers that we would give something to the audience. You said you would draw little aliens. So
I did say for that.
At what tier? We'll decide right now. At what tier? How much money should they be paying for a little drawing of an alien?
For a little drawing of an alien?
From Dan?
If you want to do, well, right now.
They go to art college.
Yeah, I went to theater school. I would say I will give you if you do $10 a month, I will for sure draw you a nice picture of an alien every year. If you do $10 a month, I will draw you a nice picture of an alien every year. Now it's based on my skills as a fucking as an artist. So it's like when like a dentist tries stand-up comedy for like an open mic and he gets like one good joke out, that's what you should expecting. You should like one of the eyes should look pretty good.
Yeah, one half of this alien.
One half of the alien it should look pretty good. Oh, I'm gonna draw one right now for Pat.
Just to get a level.
Just to give it this is just a one I'm doing very quickly.
Well, you know what's so
to give
funny?
you an idea. I'm gonna have way more time.
I was just in Saratoga doing shows, and I went to a Starbucks there, and I got a coffee, and I picked it up, and the cup, they put the name on the cup. It'll be like Sean. Oh, I don't know.
$10 a month, guys.
Oh my God, are you Whitley Strieber?
1 second, let me get this tube up my ass.
Are you the first guy to get anally probed by an alien, and then just draw it?
We should put this. You want to put this on the back?
The level
put this on the back.
Hold on 1 second. The level of detail in this drawing.
Yeah, there we go.
Hold on 1 second. Let's see if I can get deeper down here.
Well, it's horrendous. Actually, take it out. It's going to look terrible now.
Well, if you can see on the camera here, hey, if this alien would have stolen Dan's wallet, the police would never catch this. No. Nobody's catching this alien right here.
The interesting thing, I did see her. She did make her first appearance in court, and you're fucked. By the way, this woman, you're fucked if like her lawyer is like, she opened up and she goes, now I know that already all of society is painted my client is guilty. Like that's how like they're fucked. Like if he's already starting out with like, all right, I know this looks pretty bad.
Yeah. But we have laws in this state.
We have laws in this state.
And it's also, that's why we have a great judicial system, is that this woman can plead not guilty. That's bonkers for you to the video of her at the house. They arrested her on the spot. What evidence is she going to go? She's like, I forgot he was there.
I would say it's a testament of our legal system, and it's a real indictment of our social safety net. I think that there's other aspects of society really failed this guy.
It's saying a lot for
really failed this
laws
guy.
and a lot for civil service and programs.
This is an interesting question. This is a dark question, but like you watch this, and if you like, let's say tomorrow you got life in prison, you got accused of fucking somebody's murder, and you didn't commit. Would you kill yourself, or would you wait out the whole time?
I was accused of somebody's murder, but
you're going to jail now for life. Do you kill yourself?
No, I don't think I would.
You don't think you would? You would just try?
I watched so much movies and TV on jail that I'm one of those idiots that thinks I could navigate jail. I think it depends on where you go. So it's like one of these things. What if you get yourself a
I think you'd be okay in jail. It just depends on where in jail, because
well, that's the thing. If I got myself
you have to go white. You have to run white if you're in jail.
You have to run. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I already got the fucking.
Can we
haircut.
just make that the clip this week? You have to run white. Yeah, absolutely. Burbs Bros.
By the way, Patreon.com. Run white.
Wait, are we even talking about jail? But yeah,
no. But absolutely, what you could do is go, if I plead guilty now, what's the least security level you can give me prison-wise? Because if you get to these medium security ones or these light ones, dude, it's not that bad.
But you're going to get a medium security for killing somebody, though?
If you plead guilty and they work it out for you, like, hey, cause if you say you have a case, right?
Yeah.
Say it's like you have an alibi, you have a fake, even if it's fake, obviously a fake alibi.
Yeah.
Say you have something on your side that you could turn a jury, and they're like worried about winning the case, and you go, I'll give it to you. Your lawyer's like, I will give it to you. Just give us, maybe not minimum, but give us medium security prison, not like Supermax or like one of the crazy ones that's in like all the John Woo movies.
I have another question. We try not to make this too inside baseball with comedy.
Would you kill yourself?
I'm not sure, man. I think it all depends on how dead to rights they had me. Like, if I thought that I was like, okay, this is clearly, I'm in here because of political pressure and I can find my way out, sure. But if it looks like there's no way out,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if I would. I also I think too, I would have because Sarah would probably. My wife's pretty great, and I don't think she would divorce me if I went to jail. So I would also feel bad about her not finding one too. So maybe I would kill myself just so she could move on.
Yeah, that's very.
I know. Hey, look.
It's nice of you.
Look, we have a new engineer who's laughing. These are the type of questions that we deal with on a normal basis.
Before we get to the next story, real quick, what was your other question? What was inside baseball comedy?
Okay, how many? Okay,
we'll be JKE world.
Okay, all right. How many comics do you know from you're starting at open mics that you think have a worse life now than being in a medium security prison? Not
that are still doing it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like they have library, so medium security.
Their prison?
So medium security. That means you're getting internet. That means you're getting conjugal visits probably once every couple months. That means you're getting.
That's very generous.
And I do think that a non-working comic versus a working prisoner, an in-work prisoner, is more attractive to a woman. 1,000%, right? And we'll get to that on the next episode.
A prisoner or a 40-year-old open micer?
Yeah,
1,000%.
Because like he's kind of like
more appealing.
He's like, I learned French in prison. You know
that like the bad boy image of being in prison. Like we robbed a bank,
and he's ripped.
And he's ripped, and you're ripped. Yeah, 1,000%. 9 out of 10 women would rather be with that than a guy who's like, I'm going to the comedy shop to see Greg.
Especially,
I have to bring 12 of his friends. Isn't Greg like 46 years old?
That'd be hilarious if that was his name. It's Greg. If you like Richard Pryor and Bob Newhart, you'll love Greg.
Can you? That's a bad. Like even no. If you're still doing it 20 years, let me ask you this real quick. What was your time that you had in your head that if nothing was happening, you were gonna like stop doing stand up?
Unfortunately, I'm still doing it.
No, I know, but I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? The first go around. Like, I had said I wanted, I put an absurd, when I started, I put an absurd thing on where I was like, I want to be on TV within 5 years, and I was. Yeah.
I should have kept putting those on, because I'd probably be farther, that would have, like, helped a little more instead of just handicapping myself, because I actually did beat the odds.
You just challenge, you're like, I made it.
Yeah, it's nuts. But, and then luckily I've been lucky in that I've mostly been working the last since I've been doing this since I was
very big difference.
14 years.
There's a very big difference between what you're talking about with Greg and then this.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I would rather. It just depends on what they're in jail for too.
Yeah. Oh, what if they're more appealing?
Ooh, I have a question for you.
Okay, and then we'll go to the next story.
All right. She served her time. Okay, you meet this girl. This girl, and she's already served her time. She's really cute, mid-30s, but she just got out of jail because when she was in her mid-20s, she fucked a 12-year-old at her high school. Do you still date her? Do you get over that?
In her 20s, she did it. And
20, she's out of jail now. You'd probably be 8 years statutory rape.
And it's like love at first sight.
It'll be 30s.
Do I not know about it, or I know about it right away?
I don't. I
find out later.
I would think like normal date rules, like two or 3 days in.
I find out that's why she went to jail, and she was 21 years old.
She was 25 and the kid was 12. So there's you're gonna have to get over something. This isn't a Romeo and Juliet thing. Something weird happened with her.
Probably still did. I probably still do it. Well, no, you know why? Because I'm like 20s and 40s. Maybe not. What am I talking about? I think it probably weird you out too much. Would you do it? No.
I think I would say yes, but I think eventually that would end up really hurting the relationship unless
it's such a double standard.
Unless she said to me, hey, I really went to, therapy and I got this. I figured out why I was doing this.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Also, real quick, weirdly, first off, it being a woman really changes things. Secondly, if it was 13, I'd be like, yeah, I did it, no problem. For some reason, 12 doesn't.
Interesting.
I'm trying to think of me at 13, and like, especially back then. Like, I wouldn't have been, it's such a trope at this point. We'd be like, where were these teachers when I was in school? Well, but like, it's like, I don't think guys wouldn't be as affected as girls were from something like that back then.
I think it just all depends. Like that one, the Kaylee Paterno one, that was the famous first one when we were younger.
Yeah.
I was in grammar school, you were probably in middle school. That one felt like she was really... Like, he felt very young, and she was, like, taking advantage of him.
That's from my ex-wife's hometown. The one from To Die For, the movie?
Oh, was that from Ariel's?
Yeah.
No. That's a different one.
That's a different one, okay.
This is one. She actually had going to jail, and then they opened a dispensary together, and
They
she
had a
died
baby.
of cancer.
Had a baby.
Yeah,
yes. No, that's different. Yeah. Yes.
But then it's like you look at that and you're like, well, they made it work.
It's like something was up there. Like they went back to each other. It wasn't some fleeting thing, unless it was just their obsession. Really quickly, go back up the top because we have to do it. But did you? This is on that topic. How about this woman? Did you hear about that woman that was from? I don't know if she was from Mexico. She lived in Vegas, and she was on the loose. She was drugging older rich men, and taking all of their belongings. But not just their wallet and their keys and their cash. She drugged this one guy, got into his phone, went into his E-Trade account, sold all of his Apple stock for $3.1 million, and then tried to transfer it to another account. And that's when she got nailed for it. And they were trying to find her. And she did it to multiple dudes. I mean, stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars. She was like, and she literally, the guy in Vegas, had him in Vegas in a hotel, drugged him, brought him, did all that stuff, brought him in a wheelchair, I guess in a car or whatever, but in a wheelchair over to Mexico, left him in a hotel room in Mexico, and he died there in a hotel room in Mexico.
You know what's going to be so interesting about those kind of criminals? It's like you have to have...
be so organized.
Well, it's not just that, but you have to be so calm for the shorthand, which is drugging this guy and taking all his shit, but then you have no fucking long-term vision, because if you think about this for more than 10 minutes, you know you're going to get caught. So how can they be so calm about the one aspect of this, which is getting all the stock, and not realize this is eventually going to come back to bite them in the ass?
Yes.
It's a very bizarre makeup, but we're staying in true crime land. We're not in paranormal land, but this is kind of... We're on the fence, and
a satanic leader.
Yes, a satanic leader was tackled to the ground after attempting to hold a black mass at Kansas State House, and this is in Kansas City, Missouri, I believe. Let's go down. Yes, this is in Kansas City, Missouri.
And Kansas doesn't mess around when it comes to this.
No, they do not.
They're not going to really. They're not open to all religions.
I'm always for the Church of Satan, but they're always so corny, dude. They're always so corny looking. Well,
what happened here?
A leader of the Satanist group and 3 others were arrested Friday after a fight broke out inside the Kansas State House after the alleged leader tried to hold a black mass. Michael Stewart, head of the Kansas City area Satanic Grotto, which is sounds like a sex club, was arrested after video showed him punching a counter protest who tried to take his script. Kansas Highway Patrol officers tackled and handcuffed him as he yelled, "Hail Satan!" That's awesome.
There he is.
There he is. This guy, dude. I mean,
suit.
He is dressed like every sommelier from 2014 in East Hollywood. No, it's all these guys. I mean, they had this. I forget which. This is a Colorado townhouse where they tried to do a satanic prayer. One of the guys, and then everyone stood up and started doing a Christian prayer to counteract. Yeah, it's so stupid.
Well, there was another one. What was the one where they had one of the state houses? They had the Bible on the front steps as its own statue, right? So they had a Bible. It was like a bronze Bible, whatever it is. So it was kind of funny. The satanic group in the area, they were like, well, we want a statue of Satan in the town to counteract the Bible, they went to court and they got it.
Yes. I think that's the same city that I was talking about. Where these guys, they just think they're. But the corny thing about this is this all stemmed from, I guess, St. Patrick's Day. They wanted something satanic recognized on St. Patrick's Day, and I'm like, anybody who's taking St. Patrick's Day seriously, whether they're a Satanist or just a fucking dumb Catholic, they're so corny to me. That oh well, we need to make a satanic friendly St. Patrick's Day,
this made up holiday.
Trust me. There's Satan's alive and well on St. Patrick's Day, okay? Go to fucking Port Authority, all right, and see how much secret drinking is going on in the corners behind an Aunt Annie's pretzel, and tell me that there's not Satan working through in mysterious ways on St. Patrick's Day.
Also, this Satanist leader, he looks like he has that suit on. He just looks like works at a rent-a-car place. He's got this one of these terrible I can't stand when beards aren't done properly. It's like that.
Oh, he thinks it's done properly. You just don't think it's done properly. properly. I don't think it's done properly either, but he thinks it's done properly.
It's like stringy beard, which is like the grossest kind of beard.
His beard looks like it's in the middle of a car wash. Like right now, you can't see, but it's whispery and it's like, kind of tendrils almost.
A pube jellyfish.
Pube jellyfish. Worst ska band ever. By the way, pube jellyfish.
So what ended up happening with the satanic leader?
Well, they got arrested, of course, and I'm sure they'll be back again. My question is, like, what is it? This guy obviously has to be like independently wealthy or works from home, right? Because you can't like be the head of the satanic grotto and then also like try to sponsor the girls' soccer team in town, right? Like that's not.
Well, you know what it is? It's just something like he worked at Hot Topic and it got him laid, so he just kept going. You know what I mean? Like the brand worked for him. So he's just like, who knows what he actually does for a living? Let's see, real quick. Michael Stewart, president of the Kansas City area Satanic Grotto, was arrested along with 3 others. So that's another thing that they never really explain in the headline. It's always like 4 dudes. It's never like in Kansas. You're not getting numbers on these satanic groups.
Also, I love these Christians. They always come to like the 4 Dungeons and Dragons guys that are into Satan. Like, go to BlackRock. Go to a place that owns like 60% of our real estate and is making a middle class family impossible to buy. That's where Satan is actively working through. You know, not this fucking dude who just looks like, you know, he looks like he should be in fucking the audience on a Maury Povich show or some shit. You know.
Yeah, the more constructive ways of protest and express disagreements without insulting or denigrating sacred religious symbols, Kelly said. That's the Catholic leader of the town. Yeah.
See, Pastor Jeremy Hicks of the Cure Church in Kansas City warned against allowing the event. The Cure Church sounds just as scary to me as the Church of Satan. The Cure Church? What does that mean?
You're not gay anymore.
Yeah, it sounds like where you send away if you have a gay son or you're Demi Moore in The Substance. You know, there's no. So a bond set for $1,000. So this guy isn't exactly a huge threat to the community right now.
You know, people know him in the town. They're like,
oh, so this fucking. I'm more annoyed at the people that are doing the protesting. Carla Delgado attended with her 3 young children. Admitted she tried to stop Stewart's satanic ceremony. So okay, you think that like, why are you bringing your kids if you think Satan is going to be there?
Yeah.
Like, are you just hoping that Satan takes the kids and then get out of jail free card? You saw it. Satan took them.
Hold on a second. Stewart said his group scheduled the event thinking lawmakers would be in session. He hinted they may return. Maybe unbaptisms right here in the Capitol, he said. No, what do you put them in sand? What do you do?
Well, I just don't, you mean unbaptized people who want to be unbaptized. He can't just unbaptize us, right?
I think you forcefully unbaptized people.
So he's not going to be
by just rubbing their face in flour. I don't know.
He's handing behind. He's hiding behind a potted plant with a little upside down cross, and he jumps out and goes, "Oh, the devil! The devil!"
He has a super soaker filled with unholy water.
Holy water, which is just his sweat. Let's be honest. That's he was eating Checkers and his car air conditioning broke, and that's where this holy water is from. Yeah, that's this unholy water.
There's wrappers all over that guy's car.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this guy is like, he's the type of guy. This is once you see this guy, and can we get his name again?
Michael something, right?
Michael.
The other guy.
What's his name again? I'm sorry, Michael. Yeah, Michael.
Michael Stewart.
Michael Stewart. Michael Stewart. To give you an idea how this guy looks, he's the type of guy who like. He tells you he's had a threesome and you believe him, but it's still not cool. You know what I mean? Because you're like, yeah, I saw the girls, man. It's all right. I guess you can be happy about that. They both kind of looked like you, dude.
He's like, he comes to the bar. He's like, here's Michael with his Satan stuff again.
Yeah.
Another thing is,
like his threesome. You remember that Jesse Pop bit where he's like, who needs a 10 when you got 2 5s?
Well, here's the thing. Another thing that they never talk about is, religious people talk about how they're like, Satan's everywhere. Satan's influence is everywhere. It's very strong. And then this shit happens, and it's 3 people.
It's 3 people.
And it's like, I don't think so. I think we're good.
And can we just go to that second article about I just want to see what was the satanic message that was left? Face of evil. And by the way, this guy's not the face of evil. He's the face of amphetamine use.
He's the face of responsible meth.
Oh, this is the face of. I love the Catholic Conference is like, this is the face of evil. This guy who vandalized our church, not our leadership, who hid pedophiles in other churches for the last 3 decades. But first off, hate crime scene, St. Patrick's Catholic Church in Wichita. As somebody who's been to Wichita multiple times, it's impossible to determine what's a hate crime and what's not. That whole city fucking sucks. That's that place. Remember on our podcast, the guy who like Ubered his who robbed a place and then called an Uber? It's the same city. So to give you an idea of like the criminal masterminds that are from Wichita.
Did you do the bonkers? What'd you do? Not bonkers.
You mean Rooster Teeth? No, the one the guy who was the corrupt guy who died.
No. Oh.
The heroin guy. Sanford and Sons.
Oh, that's when Wichita was?
Yeah, it's no, that's St. Louis. Sorry. No, I've never done any. I've done. I did a college, and I think I did okay, and then I did when I was writing at WWE, we did Monday Night Raw there.
They just like trashed the church. This guy trashed the church.
Yeah. What did he write though?
Phone number. Let's see. Hold on. This guy demolished. This is a different guy.
Well,
right?
it should say. Did it say? Oh, it was just vandalism. There was no like. He didn't write like he didn't draw balls on anything or. Oh, he just got fucked up and like threw some stuff around, and they said that this was a satanic worship. This is the same group that was the satanic worship. No, I don't think it was, dude.
He just tagged along, this guy.
I think that they saw this guy and they're like, yeah, he's part. No, this happened before they were thrown out.
Okay.
So I think that they must have.
It was a satanic website, but they don't say the website.
Oh, a big script. The videos also include a satanic website being scrawled into the churches.
Was it Amazon.com? Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Wait. Yeah, that's the Burbs Bros shake.
The blue
Wait,
the Burbs Bros scissor.
But you have to. One of the scissors has to close. So yeah, that's apparently this guy was. I mean, the church kind of looked shitty before this. Let's be honest, but
they're on the rebound.
All right, well let's get to the outer space of it all. China unveils planetary exploration roadmap targeting habitability and extraterrestrial life. The thing that's so crazy about this is the presupposition here is that carbon isn't necessarily needed for life. Because they're looking at
was it anaerobic?
Yes, they're looking at like other ways that life could have formed without carbon, and also I guess they're looking at like, hey, if we decided to live here, is there a possible way that we could do this without?
They use the bottom
carbon.
of the ocean as an example. So below like oxygen levels and stuff like that, and carbon levels, they use those animals that live down there as reason why it doesn't need to spurn life. I think oxygen and carbon.
They're called. It's called the Tiananmen 3, I think. What?
Tiananmen 3?
Tiananmen, no, it is.
It sounds way more.
Tiananmen 3. Tiananmen. Sorry, I did not Tiananmen. Tiananmen 3. It just stops in front of another satellite and puts its arm out. But it is interesting. I mean, the takeaway from this is that. We've run out of stuff to explore on Earth, so let's check out.
You really actually haven't, because you still have places that you can't
bottom
get
of the ocean,
to.
right?
Bottom of the ocean, they say, is less explored than the stars, but it's in order to cover that is it's insane, just like space.
And that's where we weren't about ultra terrestrials, where they're not from the outer space. They're actually. They could be from, living at the bottom of the ocean or living within rock.
Right. And then, also,
conglomerations.
Them making this map kind of fits into the UFO world, because I don't know if you remember, but from the Betty and Barney Hill case, like she gave a rundown of like she says these things explain where they were from, and she drew a detailed map of the
none of these
star
places,
system.
right? It was a different star system.
A different star system, but like it's still it still works into this type of thinking. That
I mean, the presupposition is that that they showed her where the actual star system they came from was.
Yeah, exactly.
What I'd be nervous of is, I guess 2028, the Mars sample returned. Is there like a possible they bring in some biological pathogen or something like we can't handle, and it makes us all sick. I mean, it's the thing that we get nervous about with global warming all the time, is that eventually we're going to melt disease we're going to melt a disease basically into commission.
Yeah, the Brazilian story.
Yeah.
From the James Fox movie. Oh my God, what's it called? I forget what it's called again. When the guy has the thing in his hands, and I think it just became, it's a certain type of radiation or something. It's like, they
This is the Brazilian story?
The Brazilian one, Cartagena, whatever it's called.
The guy who holds the alien?
Yeah.
Guys? Yeah.
And they died 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And they were like, he had all this weird physical stuff.
That's kind of what I'm nervous of. It's like if we bring all this stuff back, we don't really know we don't know what this stuff is gonna.
They think that can happen with global warming too. Once as ices melt, there's stuff that's brought back that's like dangerous to us.
For sure, that and diseases in South America that weren't able to travel here can now travel because of because of temperature.
Yeah. So it's all a big freaking mystery, but they have a planned launch. They have multiple. That's insane. They have all these different multiple steps to the mapping. You gotta trust
Well, here's the thing about the Chinese schedule, right? Is that if they don't make that 2029
People
for Jupiter Callisto, someone is dying. That's exactly what I was saying.
Sorry,
But it's exactly what I was saying. It's like somebody, like, you don't just put that if you're working in for the fucking government in Beijing, you don't just throw something on a sheet and be like, yeah, we'll probably get to it at that point. You will be fucking disappeared right quick.
Yeah.
But it's exciting, man. I mean, it's it is like all this stuff. I was listening on my way into the city today to our podcast. I was listening to Dr. Gary Nolan, who I'm sure you've listened to a lot. He's a Stanford
very credible source,
very credible Stanford scientist who swears that there's life elsewhere and has seen, I think, a lot more than us, but can't say it.
Yes.
But he, it's interesting him talking about it, because it's like all the stuff that we're talking about, like, we're never gonna know. Like it's all stuff. That's going to happen 100 years from now, like we're almost like it's a little frustrating even doing this podcast, because most of the stuff that we're talking about, we won't see come into fruition at all.
But the more you're able to pry out a little bit of info, you find more than maybe you were supposed to. And also, whatever that event was, remember I told you that Lou Elizondo and multiple people, 2036, and there's all. I thought
it was 26.
He said 2027 is something, and then 2030. They say that there's 2027 is supposed to be when it's revealed, but my buddy Shane was telling me how 2036 is when whatever the ship was supposed to arrive, which is like that's been the rumor for years or for a little bit within the UFO community, that you're not gonna at 2027 you're not gonna be able to hide the information that this is going to happen in 2036. But
and what do they think about this particular? You're talking about an extraterrestrial invasion. Would this be a military something threatening or something else?
Nobody knows. That's the thing.
Where is this information from, though, specifically?
So Lou Elizondo's talked about it.
Yeah.
And then
But he said 2036.
So he says 2027. He says by 2027, there's a thing that's going to happen that you're not going to be able to hide that this is a real thing anymore. And me and my buddy Shane, I think I mentioned this a while ago when we first started doing this. We were racking our brains being like, well, why can you mention it so vaguely now? And what could it possibly be where they can't deny it? And we were thinking maybe it was environment based, where something melts and they're like, holy the public can just find this giant spaceship in the middle of Antarctica, or it's something that happens when another like Umama type scenario. Yeah. I don't know if anybody ever knows about Umama, but it was this objects that are super high sensitive radars, systems were picking up that a thing that the first object ever that was recorded by SETI and by NASA that was from outside our solar system that came in. And one of the theories is that it was some sort of ship or some sort of alien product that was there for scouting purposes, and once it got into our solar system, it used our orbits to just travel. Like this, I forget what they call it, not centripetal force, some kind of force where it was going around these planets. But it seemed like it was being operated on purpose, like it was being manipulated on purpose.
So he's nervous as a recon for military.
So that's the Lou Elizondo one. Is like, hey, I think that's how it's showing up, where it's like these things are showing up. As like a recon mission, and then if you think about this, it's like all right, maybe there's something that's going to be in the sky in 2027. You're going to be like, what the fuck is that? Because it's been being tracked and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's what is it that can't be denied? That's what's racking my brain to be like, what do you not? They hide everything else, and they did for a while.
It seems like what you were saying. It's just that like that makes the most sense. Is that like there would be parts of Antarctica that would melt and reveal a ship that was crashed.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's also like, who the fuck knows, man? I mean, it's like it's in a lot of ways we're just shooting at paper tigers here, right?
Well, also I sent you as a side thing. I sent you. Did you watch that video I sent you?
Yes.
About the dimensions.
I didn't know. No, I didn't see that one.
Okay.
I haven't seen that one. The extras, which we'll cover at another show. Southbees to host extraterrestrial themed Southbees. Thank you. I always fuck that up. Southbees to host extraterrestrial.
Southbee is just a southern bee. It goes buzz. A buzz. Bless you.
Anyway, this is the richest watches. If you've seen these watches, they're gorgeous watches. But it's a bunch of like Rolex made extraterrestrial.